Hello and welcome to Optimization from Admin Panel video. In this video, we're going to go through settings and actions that can be done from Admin Panel to optimize Magento 2 application. We'll pay attention to index management, cache management, and system configuration settings. Let's go to Admin Panel. First, we'd like to go to System Index Management page. Here you can see all indexers in Magento 2. The important columns here are mode, status, and also where the index was last updated. What you can do on this page is switch indexers between two modes, update on save and update by schedule. While update on save mode is used to faster response on front end of your changes in backend, it can increase load on server and slow down work in admin panel. So when indexers are in update on save mode, the changes are reindexed during the save of an entity in admin panel. The alternative update by schedule is not so responsive, so changes are not reflected immediately, but it can save some time for work in admin panel and also remove load from server. When update by schedule mode is selected, indexers are updated by cron once in some period of time. Now let's go to cache management. Here you can see all caches in Magento 2, and for the cache management, my recommendation is not to use complete flushes of the cache if it's possible, and flush only cache that you need to flush. Select the configuration cache. For example, if you updated just the DI configuration or just saved system configuration, and click refresh. Sure, most of changes will require full page cache refresh as well, because everything configured from backend is affecting the pages on frontend, or almost everything. Now let's go to system configuration, stores configuration page, and here we'll start from advanced system tab. Here you can configure the cron parameters for index and default group by default. The index group is responsible for reindexing, and the main settings for optimizations are how frequently schedules will be generated, how often will schedule be cleaned, and other settings doesn't have so much influence on performance. So the less frequently you will configure tasks to run, the less frequently you will get updates on frontend. However, if your store is not in dynamic mode, decrease of frequency can result in better performance or less load on your server. The same for default group. However, these settings are related to all cron jobs, including your extensions and custom cron jobs, if their cron jobs are configured as a default group. So make sure to consider which operations are running and which operations are important to you from the cron jobs of module active in your installation. If you scroll down, you can see full page cache field set, and here you can set the time to leave for public content and change caching application. While there is a chance to implement partial cache invalidation or cache invalidation by tags, this setting sets the time to leave for public content independently from changes on backend. So after this amount of seconds, independently from any changes, the cache will be marked as obsolete and will not be served to customer. So the customer will have to hit the web server to generate cache once again. That means the higher TTL is specified here, the better performance you have. However, the less frequently new version of cache will be deployed to cache server. Additionally, you can change cache application that by default has two options: built-in cache and varnish cache. As you can see, varnish cache is defined as recommended even by Magento team in system configuration, and it can improve the performance of application valuably. Now let's go to developer settings. There are several things you can improve here. So first, you can enable HTML minification. That is a small performance improvement, but anyway, you can save several bytes on size of your page. Now to JavaScript settings. And here, merging JavaScript files and enabling JavaScript bundling can decrease amount of JavaScript files from more than 200 by default in Magento 2 to just 20 or 30 files. And this highly affects the complete page load until the last JavaScript file. That is counted by lots of tools, including Google PageSpeed, and that is somehow influencing the functionality on the loaded page, especially for users from mobile. Also, minify JavaScript files is recommended. The translation strategy. When translation strategy is set to dictionary, the dictionary for translation is generated and translation is performed on front-end side. But if you will change it to embedded, the translation will be applied during the deploy of static files. So it means that JavaScript and HTML files will be served already translated. That can save some time for front-end processing. For CSS, as well, merging CSS files can decrease the number of CSS files loaded on a page, and that is a good improvement for complete page load time. And minifying CSS files is also necessary. Finally, as I already mentioned in asynchronous video, it's better to enable asynchronous indexing for both asynchronous indexing for grid settings here and asynchronous email sent from sales emails general settings field set. It will improve performance of place order action. Finally, let's go to catalog and storefront field set. The important settings here for optimization are flat indexes. So here you can enable flat catalog category, catalog product indexes. That means that if the setting is enabled, instead of selecting data from several tables, Magento will have a pre-populated table and select for product data to display and category data for display. Will run faster and be less complicated. That's it for admin panel optimizations. And in the next section, we'll talk about kind of global optimization for Magento, that is migration from Magento 1 to Magento